guys, Nate Martin here with Auto Life. Today we're going to be talking about my 2008 Mustang GT. I bought this car about 6 months ago. This is the 5th generation Mustang. That's right, 5th generation. They built this car from 2005 to 2014 in Flat Rock, Michigan. The car did receive a facelift, I believe, in 2009 or 2010, and they made a lot of changes to the car, especially the GT model and some of the more exclusive models as well, like the Boss 302 and the Shelby GT 500. But today we're just going to be talking about this car. This is a great entry-level muscle car if you are in the market for getting into the kind of the muscle car game. These 2007, 2008 GTs have come down quite a bit in price. I picked this specific car up for around $9,000, and that was about 6 months ago. It is a V8, modular V8 3-valve, which doesn't seem like a lot, but you know, for the noise that you get, the rumble, kind of the muscle car heritage, I think this car really brings a lot of value, and I'll talk a little bit about that more. So let's dive into it. We'll go for a drive here in a bit. So stick around. Thanks. All right, let's talk about the interior. First thing I want to talk about is the steering wheel. It's a nice 3-spoke steering wheel, kind of on the larger side, but definitely does the job. Not a lot of cushion, it's a fairly thin wheel, but definitely livable, that's for sure. Not too many buttons on the wheel, just the cruise control buttons. What I really like about the design of the interior is the gauge cluster and the vents. They kind of went with the retro look, the circular vents, and then the circular gauges. Kind of gives the car that old school 1960s muscle car feel, even though it's not really a classic car, but it feels kind of like a modern classic car. A lot of hard plastic, and it's got a material that looks kind of a knockoff carbon fiber. It looks okay to me. Definitely don't buy these cars for the interior. It's not a Lexus, it's not an Audi, and I think Ford knew that. It definitely could be better, but the interior kind of fits the personality of the car. The cup holders are not in a great spot. My 08 GT is a manual, so that means I've got to shift my gears, and I can't really shift if I've got a big cup in the cup holders. There are two. One of them's more shallow, the other one's deeper. It works if you have like a 12-ounce pop can or soda can. You can put that in the deeper cup holder, but it kind of gets annoying when you're shifting because your arm's right over your drink. So that is kind of a con of the car. Let's talk about the sound system. Mine is equipped with the Shaker 500. Ford also offers the Shaker 1000 watt as well, where you get the 2 big subwoofers in the back. But I like the 500 just so I can use my trunk. That way, you know, you can put golf clubs or suitcases in your trunk. It's a fairly good sound system. It's not, you know, fantastic by any means, but definitely usable. All right, guys, I've got the key here. We're going to start her up and give her a couple of revs. Let's put the windows down. Kind of hear the car come to life right when you turn the key. The exhaust I have on here is a aftermarket exhaust. The stock exhaust I've heard is okay, but I think the first modification you have to do if you get one of these is get an aftermarket exhaust. Go on to AmericanMuscle.com or look online. There's so many different exhaust variations for these type of cars. All right, let's pop her into gear. Talk about the drive. cruising around in a vacant parking lot for right now. We're going to pull onto the frontage road here in a second. Let's talk about visibility. It's kind of the first thing I want to talk about. Visibility is good compared to, I'm going to put the windows up for a second. Shifter in a second. Visibility is good compared to like a Camaro. It's not going to be good compared if you're coming from like a Camry or a Maxima. There's going to be more blind spots in these type of cars. That's just how they're really designed. But I've got the hood scoop on this one. It's not too bad. You can definitely see out of it, but it takes a little bit of getting used to. I will say that. One of the other cars I own is a 2012 Nissan Maxima. And I thought when I first bought this car, I thought the visibility was horrible, but you kind of just get used to it. You really do, kind of the hood sitting up higher than you're used to. Let's go for a pull here. I've got her in third gear. We're at about 2.5 RPM. We're gonna go for a slight pull. Down here before I get pulled over. So the car really lives in second or third gear. I would probably say third gear. You're going to have the majority of your fun in third gear. Fourth gear is fun too, but that's more of a highway gear. I'm going to shift into fourth so it's not as noisy. Fifth gear is your overdrive gear. The 2008 Mustang GTs are a 5-speed manual. They're not a 6-speed. The downside to that is you don't get great gas mileage. If you're passing somebody on the freeway, you can't really be in fifth gear. You're not going to have enough power. You're going to have to be in fourth gear, but you're not getting the great gas mileage that you would get in like a normal 6-speed. That's one of the caveats to that. Let's talk a little bit about handling. These cars were not designed to handle well. I believe these ones have the live rear axles, and Ford did that to save a little bit of money, and they are quite a bit lighter than an independent rear suspension. However, the handling, you do sacrifice handling at high speeds, and that's something you just got to be careful with. Put her back into third gear. Let this guy pass me. I have slid off the road with this car at high speeds. It's not a high-speed interstate car. That is something you just have to be careful. I mean, I guess if you lower it, you put special tires on it, it could be a better high-speed handling car, but in my opinion, I would not speed on the interstate in this vehicle. It's just not a great high-speed cornering type of vehicle. I do have 235s on the front, and I have 255s on the rear tires, and that's okay. You can definitely adjust that. You know, obviously there's different types of sizes, different type of tire sizes for your liking. The suspension is very stiff. That's one of the first things that you do feel in these type of cars. Is you can tell the personality of the car is it wants to go, and it wants to go hard in a straight line. The GT stands for Gran Turismo, or Grand Touring, so it is a fairly comfortable car. These are cars that are performance cars, but you could also drive across the country if you wanted to. I know a lot of people have these as their daily driver. This particular car is not my daily driver, but I do drive it probably multiple times a week just because it's a fun car to drive. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. As we come to a end here, I just want to reiterate that these are great entry-level fun muscle cars. Again, they've come down so much in price. You can pick one of these up for around the $7,000-$8,000 range, and it's a V8. I know the V6s in today's sports car and muscle car world are putting out just as much horsepower, if not more. But again, you get the rumble, you get the sound, you slap on a couple of modifications, add a supercharger, $3,000-$4,000 supercharger, you can really get these cars in the mid 400s, if not high 400s, possibly even low 500 horsepower numbers. And that is pretty crazy if you ask me, for $12,000, $13,000, $14,000 into a vehicle to have something that's producing those type of horsepower numbers is pretty wild. So in my opinion, I think it's one of the best cars for the money out there right now. It does not compete by any means with one of the new muscle cars, not the new Mustang GT or the new Camaro. That's not why you buy this car. Again, it's just kind of an entry-level muscle car. Let me know what you think in the comments. I plan on doing a lot more reviews here going into the new year. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned.